Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to this cozy little corner where stories come alive and where every life, no matter the age, carries wisdom worth sharing. Today, I want to share something truly special: the remarkable journey of John Harper and the 10 worst financial traps he wishes he had avoided. These aren't just mistakes. They're powerful lessons that could help you protect your future and escape the cycle that keeps so many people stuck. If you're serious about building real wealth, you'll want to hear this. John Harper wasn't born wise. He wasn't handed wealth or a roadmap to success. Raised in a small Ohio town, he grew up in the shadow of steel mills, where his parents toiled long hours for meager paychecks. Their hands were rough, their dreams modest, but they taught John to work hard and hope big. As a young man, he chased the American dream with fervor: new cars, big houses, the promise of more. But along the way, he stumbled, seduced by traps that glittered like gold but chained him to struggle. Now, at 68, John has distilled decades of mistakes into lessons he's desperate to share. These are the 10 worst assets that keep you poor, the pitfalls that cost him time, money, and peace, and the wisdom he hopes will guide you to a better path. Number 1. The flashy car that steals your freedom. John was 25 when he first tasted the thrill of having it all. Fresh out of college, he landed a job at a bustling car dealership in Cleveland, where the smell of polished leather and new tires filled the air. Every day he walked past a cherry red Mustang convertible, chrome rims gleaming, engine purring like a promise of power. To John, that car wasn't just metal and rubber. It was status, success, a ticket to being somebody. When he signed the loan papers for $25,000, his heart raced with pride. He could still feel the steering wheel under his palms, the envious glances from strangers as he cruised downtown. But pride doesn't pay bills. The $600 monthly payments hit like a sledgehammer. Insurance costs soared, gas guzzled his paycheck, and repairs for that high-performance engine nibbled away at his savings. John's apartment, a cramped one-bedroom with peeling wallpaper, became a reminder of what he couldn't afford. "I thought that car made me look rich," John says, his voice tinged with regret. "But it was making me poor." The real wake-up call came 3 years later, when his daughter, Emily, was born. Her tiny cries filled their home, and so did the costs: diapers, formula, doctor visits. John's wife, Linda, looked at him one night, her eyes weary, and asked, "How are we going to do this?" The Mustang, once his pride, became a symbol of his selfishness. He sold it at a $10,000 loss, the sting of that decision lingering like a bruise. "I learned the hard way," he says softly. "A car should get you from A to B, not chain you to debt." John's advice is simple but fierce. Avoid the flashy car trap. New vehicles lose 20% of their value the moment you drive them off the lot. Buy reliable, buy used, and invest the savings in something that grows: your future, your family, your freedom. "You don't need a car to prove you're enough," he says. "You already are." Number 2. Credit card debt, the chains you can't see. By his early 30s, John thought he'd outsmarted his younger self. The Mustang was gone, replaced by a practical sedan with cloth seats and decent mileage. He and Linda had moved to a starter home in a quiet Columbus suburb, its white picket fence a nod to their dreams. Emily, now a toddler, filled their days with laughter. But life, as John learned, doesn't play fair. A leaky roof demanded $8,000 they didn't have. A broken furnace followed, then a scare with Emily's asthma that racked up hospital bills. Out of options, John reached for his credit card. Just this once, he told himself, swiping for repairs, then groceries, then Christmas gifts to keep Emily's eyes bright. One card became 2, then 3. The balance climbed: $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. Interest rates hit 18%, and minimum payments barely dented the principal. John worked overtime, his body aching, but it was like bailing out a sinking ship with a teaspoon. I'd lie awake at night, doing math in my head, he recalls, his voice heavy. How did we get here? Linda's smile grew strained, and Emily sensed the tension, clinging to her stuffed bunny for comfort. Credit card debt is a silent predator, John says. It disguises itself as a lifeline, but tightens like a noose. The breaking point came when John missed a mortgage payment, the threat of foreclosure looming like a storm cloud. Desperate, he and Linda sought a financial counselor, a stern but kind woman who laid out their reality in black and white. They cut up the cards, sold furniture, and budgeted to the penny. It took 7 years to pay off the debt. Each payment a battle won. Freedom tastes better than anything you can swipe for, John says, a faint smile breaking through. If you're trapped, John's plea is urgent. Stop swiping. Face the numbers, no matter how scary. Seek help, a counselor, a friend, a plan. The shame fades when you act. You're not your debt, he says. You're bigger than it. Number 3, get-rich-quick schemes, the mirage of millions. In his 40s, John hit a wall. His job as a sales manager paid the bills, but the monotony gnawed at him. He dreamed of freedom, time with Emily, trips with Linda, a life unbound by a 9-to-5. That's when a coworker, all charisma and promises, pitched him a game changer, a multi-level marketing scheme selling health supplements. The presentation was electric. Charts of exponential earnings, testimonials of millionaires who'd started with nothing. Be your own boss, the speaker said, and John's heart leapt. He invested $7,000 in inventory, picturing a mansion, a yacht, a legacy for Emily. Reality was a cold slap. The supplements sat unsold in his garage, their labels curling in the humidity. Cold calls led to hang-ups, and pitches to friends strained relationships. Linda's quiet disappointment hurt most. She'd believed in him, and he'd let her down. I wasn't building a business, John admits, his eyes downcast. I was chasing a fantasy. The $7,000 was gone, along with his confidence. He felt like a fool, but worse, he felt he'd betrayed his family's trust. Get-rich-quick schemes, MLMs, crypto scams, day trading apps prey on desperation and hope, John warns. They promise shortcuts, but deliver dead ends. He learned wealth comes from patience, saving consistently, investing in low-cost index funds, building skills that pay over time. If it sounds like a dream, it's probably a trap, he says. Research, question, walk away. Your dreams deserve better than a con. Number 4. Keeping up with the Joneses, the race to nowhere. John's neighborhood in the early 2000s was a pressure cooker of comparison. The cul-de-sac buzzed with upgrades, new SUVs in driveways, flat-screen TVs flickering through windows, kids in designer sneakers. Linda felt it at Emily's school, where other moms flashed Louis Vuitton bags and swapped stories of Caribbean cruises. John felt it at work, where his boss bragged about a lake house with a private dock. We're doing fine, John told himself, but doubt crept in. Were they falling behind? so they stretched. A new sectional sofa on credit, its cushions barely used. A Disney World trip that left their savings hollow, though Emily's joy was worth every penny. Until the bills arrived. A kitchen remodel with granite countertops, driven more by neighbors' glances than need. We were chasing a shadow, John says, his voice thick, trying to prove something to people who didn't care. The cost wasn't just financial. Stress fractured their marriage. Linda snapped over late bills. John retreated into silence. Emily, sensing the rift, drew pictures of happy families that broke John's heart. It took years of honest talks, downsizing, and refocusing on what mattered: love, trust, time together to heal. The Joneses aren't your friends, John says fiercely. They're a lie. Social media amplifies the trap today, with Instagram feeds of perfect lives screaming, "You're not enough." John's antidote: define your own enough. Cook a meal with your kids, walk in the park, save for a goal that's yours. Happiness isn't out there, he says, tapping his chest. It's in here. Number 5. The oversized house that owns you. In 2005, John and Linda caught real estate fever. The market was booming, and everyone said houses were a sure bet. Their cozy 1,800 square foot home felt small compared to the sprawling McMansions popping up nearby. So they upgraded: a 4,500 square foot beast with a pool, 4 bedrooms, and a 3-car garage. The mortgage stretched their budget thin, but John believed they'd grow into it, that promotions and raises would ease the strain. Then 2008 crashed like a tidal wave. John's commissions vanished as clients tightened belts. The house's value plummeted, leaving them underwater, owing more than it was worth. The pool, a turquoise fantasy, sat unused, its pump humming up bills. The extra bedrooms echoed, empty except for storage boxes. Utility costs, electricity, heating, water, ate $800 a month. We weren't living, John says, rubbing his temples. We were surviving, owned by a house we didn't need. They sold at a $100,000 loss, a gut punch that forced them back to a modest rental. The shame was heavy, but the relief was heavier. A house should be a home, not a trophy, John says. Buy what fits your life, your real life, not your ego's. True wealth is sleeping without dread, knowing you're not one paycheck from ruin. Number 6. Impulse buys. The termites of wealth. John's Achilles heel was gadgets, a new iPhone every year. Its box barely opened before the next model called. A smartwatch he wore twice, its notifications more annoying than useful. A $500 drone that crashed into a tree on its maiden flight, its wreckage mocking him from the grass. Each purchase felt small. A $50 speaker here, a $200 kitchen gadget there, but they piled up like termites chewing through his savings. I'd tell myself I deserved it, John says, chuckling ruefully. Work was hard, life was hard, so why not? But those treats added up to thousands. Money that could have funded Emily's college or a rainy day fund. Online shopping made it worse, with Amazon's one-click buys and ads that seemed to read his mind. The dopamine hit of a new package faded fast, replaced by regret. Impulse buys thrive on emotion, excitement, stress, boredom. John broke the cycle with a 48-hour rule. Wait 2 days before buying anything non-essential. Most urges passed, like clouds drifting by. He also unsubscribed from retailer emails, their sale subject lines no longer baiting him. Every dollar you save is power, he says. Try his rule. Audit your cart. Pause. Your future self will nod in gratitude. Number 7. Trendy investments you don't understand. In 2017, John's nephew, a tech-savvy 20-something, cornered him at a family barbecue. Bitcoin was skyrocketing, and the kid's eyes gleamed with visions of Lamborghinis. "It's the future, Uncle John," he said, showing charts on his phone. John, nearing 60, felt a pang of FOMO. He didn't understand blockchain, but he understood missing out. Against Linda's caution, he sank $12,000 into a lesser-known coin, swayed by hype and dreams of early retirement. The crash came fast. By 2018, his investment withered to $2,500. "I wasn't investing," John says, his voice raw. "I was gambling, blindfolded." The loss stung, but the embarrassment burned worse, explaining to Linda, facing his nephew's sheepish apology. Trendy investments, crypto, NFTs, meme stocks, lure with promises of quick riches, but demand knowledge most lack. John now sticks to what he understands: diversified index funds, a rental property he researched for a year. "If you can't explain it to a 10-year-old, don't buy it," he says. Slow wins, always. Number 8. Unused subscriptions, the silent drain. By his 50s, John was drowning in subscriptions. Netflix, Hulu, Disney, each for family nights that rarely happened. A gym membership he used twice, its keycard buried in a drawer. A wine club delivering bottles he forgot to cancel, their corks unpopped. A magazine stack grew dusty on his coffee table, their glossy covers mocking his inertia. Each was $10, $20, $30 a month. Peanuts, he thought. But together, they siphoned $400 monthly, $4,800 a year. "I was funding someone else's dream," John says, exasperated. "Not mine." The wake-up came when he audited his bank statements, a task he'd avoided like a root canal. Highlighting those charges felt like exposing a wound. He canceled everything non-essential, keeping one streaming service and a library card. The savings funded a trip to see Emily at college, her hug worth more than any app. "Check your accounts," John urges. "Those little leaks sink big ships." Number 9. Timeshares, the vacation nightmare. In 2009, John and Linda vacationed in Orlando, a rare escape from routine. At their hotel, a perky rep offered free park tickets for a quick timeshare pitch. The presentation was a masterclass in seduction. Lush resorts, happy families, a smart investment that'd save on future trips. John pictured Emily splashing in pristine pools, Linda sipping wine on a balcony. They signed for a $15,000 timeshare, heartened by visions of memories. The truth was uglier. Maintenance fees hit $1,200 a year, whether they used it or not. Booking was a nightmare. Prime weeks were unavailable, leaving off-season scraps. The contract was ironclad. Resale, impossible. "We used it twice," John says, his voice flat. 2 weeks for $20,000 in costs. They felt duped. Their dream vacation, a financial albatross. Timeshares sound idyllic, but bind you to debt for decades. John's advice: rent a condo, book a hotel, save for real travel. Memories don't need a contract, he says. They need you, present and free. Number 10. Neglecting your health, the costliest mistake. John's deepest regret isn't financial, it's personal. In his 50s, he let health slide. Long hours meant fast food. Burgers wolfed down in his car, soda replacing water. Stress kept him awake, so he skipped workouts, then checkups, "I'll deal with it later," he told himself, ignoring a growing waistline and nagging fatigue. At 57, a doctor's visit changed everything. Type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, a warning of worse to come. Medical bills piled up, meds, tests, specialists. Work suffered. He couldn't keep up. "I was robbing my future," John says, tears welling. "Emily needed me, Linda needed me, and I wasn't there." The diagnosis forced change. Daily walks, home-cooked meals, a sleep schedule. It wasn't easy, but each step reclaimed his life. "Your health is your foundation," John insists. "Poor health drains money and joy. Start small. Swap a soda for water. Walk 10 minutes. Book that checkup. You're worth it," he says. "No asset matters if you're not here." John's story isn't a record of his mistakes. It's a testament to resilience and inner strength. After decades of wrong turns and financial struggle, he and his wife Linda refused to give up. They didn't let their past dictate their future. Instead, they stood up together, step by step, slowly but steadily rebuilding their lives from the ground up. They began with a debt, not by winning the lottery or receiving a miracle windfall, but $1 at a time. Every account they paid off, no matter how small, was a victory, and they celebrated each one with pride. With unwavering determination and discipline, they saved up a $20,000 emergency fund. Not just a number, but a protective shield against life's unpredictable storms. They ignored flashy promises and hype from the financial world. Their investments didn't skyrocket overnight. They grew quietly, rooted in patience, self-control, and a long-term vision. Their home, a modest 1,500 square foot ranch, might not appear impressive on the outside, but inside, it's filled with warmth, laughter, and love. It's truly theirs, a symbol of every sacrifice, every hard-earned win. Their daughter, Emily, now 30, runs her own bakery. With each cake she bakes, with every early morning she opens shop, you can see the same determination and perseverance that carried her parents through hard times. Her success didn't come out of nowhere. It's a reflection of the silent legacy they passed down. Courage and grit. "I'm not a millionaire," John says, his eyes twinkling beneath a wide, contented smile. "But I'm rich. Rich in peace, rich in purpose, rich in time to enjoy what really matters." Every scar he carries tells a story. He's learned that real wealth isn't about cars, big houses, or luxury goods. It lies in the choices we make each day, in love, in kindness, in never giving up. Mistakes, once painful burdens, became wise teachers. Setbacks, once sources of despair, became the fuel that kept him going. Dear friend, you don't have to walk the same path John did. You're smarter, stronger, and you have time he never had. Take a good, honest look at your life. Really look. What's weighing you down? A loan you can't shake off? A useless subscription? A dream that's really just a trap? You have the power to change it all, starting right now. Start with where you are. Cancel that forgotten streaming service. Put an extra few dollars toward your debt, or simply go for a walk and take a deep breath. To John, these aren't small things. They're the first victories. They're how you declare, "I'm bigger than this worry, this bill, this chaos." It's a choice to choose yourself. He's been through the same days as his audience, afraid, stuck, and lost. But he stands there now, proof that anyone can overcome it. In his eyes, everyone has dreams worth chasing, people waiting for their light, and a future they can shape with their own hands. What matters is taking that first step and then the next. If you fall, you get back up. You are stronger than you think, and you are not alone. And if John's story resonates with you, hit like, share the video with someone who needs it, and subscribe to help spread the message. He's pouring his heart into helping others build a better life. Your support not only keeps the channel alive, it helps these lessons reach farther. He believes that together we can build a community of people choosing freedom. To you, to have courage, to a life you truly love.